Let's start with the rapid fire round. The first question is, at what age do you want to retire?
58.
How long does it take you to get ready in the mornings?
15 minutes.
Most embarrassing moment of your life?
When my oldest son didn't want to walk next to me.
Favorite color?
Blue.
What time of day are you most inspired?
Midnight.
How many hours of sleep can you survive on?
3.
Fill in the blank. An upcoming technology trend is blank.
Quantum computing.
The city in which the best kiss of your life happened.
Athens.
The biggest mistake of your career.
To pass.
How do you relax?
I'm going to give you the second best answer, not the first one. It's not it. Swimming.
How many cups of coffee do you drink per day?
10.
A habit of yours that you hate.
Overanalyzing.
The most valuable skill you've learned in life.
Listen.
Your favorite Netflix show.
Geez, pass.
One word description of your leadership style.
Assertive.
Top priority of your daily schedule.
Delivery.
Ideal vacation spot for relaxation.
Mykonos.
Key factor for maintaining work-life balance.
Exercise.
The last song you've been listening to.
Okay, Rolling Stones. I can get satisfaction.
I'm glad you're enjoying this interview. Okay. All right. So, and the last movie that you saw that had a good impression on you?
The Marvels.
Okay. All right. So that was the end of the rapid fire round. Now we can...
I can do more of that.
I'm glad you liked it. Now we can go on to the bigger questions, which you can take with as much time you want to answer, as much ease. The first one is, can you share more about your role as Chief Strategy and Transformation Officer at Pepsi and how you're driving the company's digitalization?
Perfect, yes. So as part of my responsibilities, I have the accountability of driving the long-term and short-term strategy of the organization, both around how we drive category penetration, our portfolio, and of course within that our sustainability agenda, and more importantly in this aspect, digital transformation. For us, digital transformation is not a side initiative, and that's why we have embedded it within the strategy and transformation function. It is part of the core operations of the company to drive both operational excellence, top-line performance, and bottom-line also savings. So within the organization, digital transformation is embedded in the end-to-end value chain.
And so could you give any interesting examples of how these initiatives are happening, the digital ones?
Of course, many of them. So as I said, because we do it across the value chain, everything from how we manufacture our products to how we move our products and then how we put them on the shelf for the consumers to buy is using technology, AI, Web3, robotics, blockchain to drive the performance. Some of the examples, if you go to our facilities, our plants, we use extensively predictive asset maintenance for all the equipment, for the plant performance, the packaging lines, every asset management optimization that we have in the facilities. And on top of that, we use AI for control towers. So the plant manager will be able to observe proactively if there's likely to be an asset performance issue and therefore go and address it before the line stops working or there might be an accident. So we also connect it to the health and safety. So that's on the manufacturing side. If you were to think on the move part of our business, our fleet specifically, our drivers are using AI for proactive route management. We link it with geolocation and tab analysis to be able to drive better performance, driver performance, going to the store to be able to place the products. And of course, health and safety on the roads and for the vehicles that they drive. And another good example is on R&D. Are you aware of the perfect Cheetos? The perfect R&D, the research and development. So we have used AI to create what we call the perfect Cheetos. As PepsiCo, Cheetos is one of our biggest brands. So when it came to additional flavors, we wanted to reduce the time of formulation from 6 months to 6 weeks. So we use AI to be able to filter and test hundreds and thousands of attributes. So with that, we created the perfect Cheeto, both in terms of the shape, also linking that with digital twin simulators, and also in flavor. So the new Flaming Hot Cheetos came out of the use of AI.
And are there any other interesting products that are going to go from 6 months to 6-week developments besides this one?
No, many. Across everything that we do, we want, number one, to reduce the innovation cycle. So everything from how we think of the product to going through the innovation agenda and commercialization. We want to have a window that goes in weeks and not months and quarters. The second is direct to consumer. So we have been working very actively with our consumers, and we have billions of consumers across the world. What should be this portfolio of SKUs that they should have in their house with a delivery of 4 hours so they can enjoy the assortment, full assortment that PepsiCo has to offer across beverages, our breakfast portfolio, our snacks portfolio, and our better for you meals and snacks portfolio as well. And another area that we have been working very actively in the broader transformation agenda is the whole mass personalizations by using combination of Web3 and AI to be able to create your personalized product. So not just in terms of the packaging, but also the flavor. So many more things to come in the market as we are now embedding technology in everything we do.
And so how is Pepsi planning to stay ahead of AI advancements to align with long-term goals or something?
So we have very strong internal teams that we have been building. For the past 3 years, we have hired more than 1,000 people that have a specialization between both predictive AI and Gen AI, and then software engineering, but specifically on ML ops and AI ops. So we are enhancing and strengthening the internal talent. Second, we have a process around data ops, ML ops, and AI ops. So we are able to go from the pilot to the scale and the industrialization of the capabilities extremely fast and with a global rollout. And the third one, to be able also to do that responsibly, we have embedded the responsible AI framework within a responsible business framework. So everything we do has an auto process of how we track data, how we track the algorithms, and then how we roll them out responsibly to ensure we are also very protective of the audience that we are targeting, whether it's internal or external. And of course, we avoid any algorithmic bias that comes with that.
So you have an academic background. How's that influenced your approach to this digital transformation?
Hugely, for 2 reasons. One is we don't cut corners at PepsiCo, because with what you learn in academics, you have to drive precision. But what we want in PepsiCo is we want to drive precision and excellence in the context of the broader industry that we are operating. So the rigor of how we build the capabilities, how we drive the AI adoption, and how we roll out the AI models comes from my academic background, and therefore we do everything ethically and responsibly. So that's one aspect. And the second, I believe in ecosystems. Again, because of my academic background, you cannot solve all the problems on your own. So we have shaped a lot of partnerships with universities. So we have a partnership with the Stanford Institute of AI, with Wharton, amongst other universities, and of course with our customers such as Walmart, that we partner in many things, because we believe that it takes a village to be able to drive those capabilities. And therefore, the ecosystem that we bring together is an ecosystem ready for success when it comes to the digital transformation.
So then how do you bridge theoretical knowledge with practical applications ever since you joined this company?
Of course, in between academia, and which I'm still teaching, and PepsiCo, I have had broad consulting experience where you learn that you have to take now the theory and apply it for real-time problems. So one of the things that I have been doing, and I have encouraged many of my team members who have come from academia or long stint in academia, is we don't have unlimited research time. In academia, you can write papers for years and then you go to have your publications. Here we have to work with specific timelines. So how are we able to dissect the work so we will still kind of deliver product releases for the company in a way that the business is able to digest it? So one, unlike academia, we don't have big bangs. Progress is the king and the queen in this case. So what we are trying to do is with short stints of delivery, we have Scrum teams, we are providing the progress that we need to drive the adoption for the organization. And I would say the second thing is academia, unlike what people believe, is very expansive. So it doesn't have boundaries of functions like we have in the industry. So we don't necessarily think now, I have to solve a supply chain problem and I have to solve a consumer problem. I have to solve for a commercial problem. Ultimately, I have to solve a problem that will unlock value for our consumers, which is cross-functional. So that broad and horizontal integration of the capabilities that you learn always in academia is something that we are implementing also in real life.
So what impact do you foresee with Pepsi's digital hubs, and how do they adapt to emerging tech trends?
So far, the hubs have had a tremendous effect in our ability to deliver at scale those capabilities, plus also to attract, I would say, the best talent in the market. I'm going to Barcelona after Lisbon, where we have one of our biggest digital hubs, and we have more than 200, PhDs, AI experts, across 150 nationalities, which is also important, the diversity that we have in those locations. They have definitely led to the acceleration of our journey because it's a location where the smartest minds are sitting together, they are brainstorming, they are developing solutions, they are experimenting, and also driving, as I was saying, the rollout of those capabilities in the market. So it was something that we were missing because, of course, we had very talented teams in the locations, but never in a very focused effort and locations where the talent from UI UX experts to product managers to data scientists to AI ops, they were co-creating together.
And so can you provide details on the functions of these digital hubs and their collaboration with existing teams?
So as I was saying, in those digital hubs, you have everything from digital product folks, product success delivery, software engineers, service design, process engineers, to data scientists, ML engineers, AI ops, cloud infrastructure people, dev and SecOps. So everything that you would need to build a vertical ecosystem of acceleration on AI. So this co-creation concept and co-location has been pivotal also for the career development of the individuals, because the one thing we want to ensure is that those people are not just there to deliver the products, but also to learn and upskill themselves throughout this process. So the cross-functional nature of the hubs has helped also them professionally to understand what are the synergistic effects between a software engineer and a product engineer, an ML engineer and a data engineer, and therefore amplify the integration layer between those capabilities.
Right, so this is a different question, is what does your daily routine at Pepsi look like? So give us an example day.
Okay, so wake up at 6 because the boys need to go to school, get them ready, and then I'm at the office latest by 7:30, 7:45. Typically within the day, I have meetings, face-to-face meetings with the team. So we've gone from hybrid model to 3 days at work, which is great. So now the teams are in the office. So we'll do face-to-face meetings. We look at the pipeline, we look at the products, we brainstorm if something is going wrong and making sure that we course correct or brainstorm for the new ideas. Then in between, we always have sessions and one-to-ones with our top talent. I always have in my day one-to-one discussions with what we call our high potential people in the organization to ensure that we hear their points of views, everyone from the most junior to the most senior. And then I always leave like an hour to read within my day before I go to ensure I catch up with what is happening externally, if there have been any papers or latest developments in the technology and how it would impact the programs. And then I always have some time for our partners. As I discussed, the ecosystem is important, and those partners could be the big technology partners or startups or consulting partners that we work with, because it's important also to get their perspective throughout the evolution. And I typically leave the office around 6:30 to 7 p.m.
And what do you read about in that hour that you have? What publication?
I mean, everything from, the latest article in the Harvard Business Review to new books around, the evolution, the new releases of ChatGPT and OpenAI. To a lot of things, I will have to say a lot of my focus in the past months as well has been about AI regulation and workforce augmentation. Because as a company who has more than 300,000 employees, also part of my remit is to ensure that as we roll out those capabilities, we don't also compromise our commitments to our people around developing their talents, upskilling and reskilling, and allow them to have still a better job after we finish the journey.
So what upskilling and reskilling programs are Pepsi deploying across the company?
So we have rolled out 2 years ago a program that we call the Digital Academy. This is targeted for all the employees, whether you are a plant manager or a driver or a warehouse delivery person or someone who is a finance expert. There you have majors and minors. So depending on your area of specialization, you have deep dives in specific technology topics that are relevant for your job. And then you need to have at least foundational understanding of the basics of cloud, the basics of data foundation and data infrastructure, the basics of AI. So end-to-end, people can understand the implications of those technologies for the enterprise. We have now done the basic and foundational training to all the employees, and we are going now through the majors for each of the groups. This year is the year of what we call frontline, our sales people and our supply chain people. So we plan to train everyone in the specific areas of specialization. And we are working very closely also with the governments, US government being one of those, on how we can also influence the Manufacturing Act and the upskilling, reskilling that is needed for this profile of employees.
And so let's talk a bit about technology and sustainability. So how does Pepsi leverage tech and sustainability, and what measurable impact has it had?
Yeah, in several ways. And as you can imagine, I work very closely with our Chief Sustainability Officer, Jim Andrews, in shaping the roadmap, and then we are delivering. Number one, we have developed what we call a PEP Positive Cockpit. This is where we track all the KPIs around the major sustainability targets that we have: CO2 emission, water reduction, climate impact, biodiversity, across the whole organization in every single market. This is also something that the executive team is using at a monthly basis, and it's the one common way for us to ensure that we are on track with the internal and external commitments we have made. The second is Scope 1, Scope 2 emissions are included in this analysis, and Scope 3, which are not yet fully fledged, we are also started to build and assess, from a regulatory perspective, an ESG regulation, what else we need to do to make sure that governments are also understanding how compliant we are with some of the commitments. So that's one area. A second big area is on agro. So we have been investing heavily on precision agriculture, everything from how we do regenerative agriculture responsibly, measuring the humidity of the soil, making sure that we do responsibly crop yield, understanding based on external weather conditions and phenomenon, what should be the yield cycles, working with our farmers on what should be the potato season, and at that, what should be the seed strategy that comes with that. All of that empowered by technology. We have startups, but also internal IP that we use across the board that track based on drones and external information, along with sensors on the ground, or what should be the optimal strategy around regenerative agriculture. Another big area, I'm just giving you some examples, is also being able to track the negative impact of CO2 on data centers. As you know very well, sustainability so far has been, the biggest focus has been on industrial equipment, on big manufacturing facilities, not so much on the impact of technology equipment on sustainability. We want to be one of the first companies that track how much emissions come from our data centers, our cloud consumption, and therefore go back to our tech providers and make sure that we collectively, with both of us, have commitments around optimization and better usage of these technologies.
Is Pepsi planning to get to net zero at some point?
Yes, absolutely.
So as a woman in tech, what advice do you have for aspiring female innovators?
One is don't assume that people will give you a chance because you're a woman. You have to fight for it. The environment is ripe. Everyone now accepts and endorses women in tech. So it's a great opportunity for the younger generation to really get into this field, whether they get into the field through entrepreneurial programs or through big companies like us. Employers across the world, they want women in the tech workforce. So that's number one. Point number two, unfortunately with COVID, if you were to see the university admissions around this space and women in these STEM fields, they have been going down. So I think we have a responsibility, women like me and many other women leaders in companies, to revive the interest of female students on STEM specifically. And there is interoperability between STEM fields in any case. I mean, you can have an engineering background or a computer science background, still you can be a data scientist. So doing that and making sure that we are committed, and what I'm doing is I'm the sponsor of Million Women Mentors to ensure exactly that we drive this mentorship down to middle school and high school across the world. And the last thing I would say is it's fine and it's okay if you fail the first time you do it. And no one will hold you accountable for failing once, even failing twice, as long as you are persistent, and then success will come.
So the last question for you is of a personal kind. What would you be doing in your life if not this right now?
Academia. I am Athina Kanioura. Catch me on the Technologist of the Month show.